Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel and to this new video about the building and the RC conversion of the TBF Avenger. In this video I intend to show you a little bit of the assembly of the little details that have to go in. I have managed to put the wing in. I think also because I have the electronics in there, it was really a fight. I'm going to say it took me like maybe easy 1 hour to get the wing in place, to get also the servo for the ailerons also somehow in place in there, and that it all fits. I suppose that if we didn't have the electronics it would be much easier, but the good thing is that even if you go for the rubber powered model, the wing does sit in very snugly in there, which is good. So that's I think that's all positive from that side. So that's good. Now as I say, I've put in the wing, I've put in the servo inside. I haven't plugged it in, and I still have to put in the control arms into the servos. Like we have the aileron servo here. I'm not sure you can see it. Aileron servo, and then it's the elevator and the rudder servo that are on the ESC inside there. Maybe you can see it. And I have to connect them then to the push rods. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. That's the next step. I've also started to put in a little bit of the longerons on the fuselage, but I've also realized, I don't know if you can see it, me and my clumsy self, it's crooked. So I've got to try to fix this, and this is, I'm not sure how it happened. I don't know if I glued it and then I put it down and then it ended up crooked. Like, it doesn't really matter too much. The only problem is that the engine is actually turning a little bit to the left. If it would turn into the right, I would go with it, because that might compensate the left turning properties of the propeller, but I think I'm going to have to fix it. So let's see. This is also where one learns to respect and to admire the quality and the workmanship of people like Cliff Harvey, who is a great inspiration. And if you don't know him, I'm sure you know him. If you're watching this, you probably also know his channel, but I'll put the link down in the notes, as it's really an inspiring YouTuber that's making bigger and better models than these, of course. So I'll put that there, and that's what I'm going to do for the video. Okay, so I'll be putting in the longerons, I'll do the connection of the rods, I'll work on the landing gear, and gradually it's starting to look like an airplane, right? And then at some point it'll also be the tissue covering, but let's see how far I get with this one. So I've managed to wire up the ESC, and all the push rods are in place. So let's see now, let's do a bit of a test, a bit of a run up. Active. Yeah, propeller turns in the right way, which is very good. Let's see if you can see the ailerons. Whoa, careful. Ailerons, let's say turn to the right. Yeah, that's correct. Turn to the left, also correct. And then the tail surfaces, they're not there, but the rods are there. So this would be then the rudder. Yeah, moves. It doesn't move back. And the elevator, that one does move back. The rudder doesn't seem to move back. I might need to put in some oil. It is rubbing against the wood. I want to be careful because I don't want to burn the ESC as I did with another one. So I might drop in there some lubricant, typically WD-40 or one of those things. But so far it seems good. I've been working on the landing gear. For that I need to bend two wires, and I think actually the wire came with a kit. And there's a diagram here how to do it. So I bent two wires. Not easy, at least from my perspective. Maybe I'm a bit clumsy to that. I will use the original wheels that came with the kit, which are very light plastic. They come in two halves, so I stuck them together and I painted very clumsily, so I'm not going to put it too close, some grey in the middle, because you can't see it on the model, but on the pictures they seem to be greyish in color. So I didn't want to do it completely white nor leave it black, so I put a bit of grey in there. And then there's some pieces of wood that go in there to fix it, but somehow I don't trust it too much. So what I've done, I've put already the left landing gear in. Let's see if you can see it. And I've taken some staples, some normal staples like to staple paper, and I've put them in. I haven't stapled it, I've gone manually, I've put them in to hold the landing gear. So this one seems to be holding okay, so I'm hoping that that's okay. And I'll do also the same with the other one. Afterwards I will put in then the piece of wood that are also in the design, and I put some glue. I put a load of glue in there also to make sure that it's got the strength to hold it up, and also to take some of the hits, at least to cushion the hit that it's going to get, right? So I'll do the right landing gear, and then I'll probably go on to the tail surfaces. That's still a lot of assembly to do. So a bit of an update on what I've been doing, and also a mistake I've made. I think you can see it. I did not sand off the markings on the pieces of wood, and then putting in on the grey tissue for the lower part of the elevator. I can still see it through, so a bit of a mistake there, which I'm going to leave. As you can see, I've covered the tail surfaces, because the next step is going to be to put them in, glue them, and also connect in the push rods that will move then the surfaces up, down, left and right, and make sure that it all works. Other than that, landing gear seems to be more or less okay, not rolling now, and seems to be quite sturdy so far. So putting in the staples, as I was showing before, seems to be okay, and I've also put in some glue, so seems to be okay. So let's see what progress I can show you. I've managed to connect the elevator, and I've put there the wire already. To make the control horns, again, it's something that you can buy, it's relatively cheap, but what I do, I take a bit of tube which is from actually Q-tips, but you use to clean your ears. It's a little plastic tube. I cut it to size, and then I make a hole, and then it opens up so I can stick it. And there's the one on the rudder, and I have the same on the elevator there. At first, when I stuck it, then I tried to connect it, it got unstuck, so I put a little screw. Not that it's needed, maybe without it would also be okay. And it's sticking out on the top that I hadn't noticed. But let's see, I'll soon try to see if it's going to work. So I've already stuck the stabilizer with the elevator, and then the next step is going to be to stick the rudder, the tail fin and the rudder. So let's see how that goes, and then I'll have to do a test to make sure that everything moves as needs to be. I've already put on as you see, the tissue on it, because I wanted to stretch it also. So at least that part is done, and that's what I'm going to do then with the rest of the airplane. Dark blue on top, and then some kind of the grey that I have for the lower part. Other small details that I've done, I've cut out this piece. I'm not sure if you can see it. It says here you have to cut it out of some card and put some cellophane on it. This is supposed to be the gunner position, the lower gunner position. So I still have to fold it over, put some cellophane on it, some plastic, some clear plastic, and see how I can stick it onto that. And then another piece will also go actually on top. And then another piece that actually gives a lot of life to these models is the canopy. One of the great things of these models is that they have this vacuum formed canopy, and it's really very difficult to, at least for myself, to do if you're just doing a scratch build. To make the canopies, it's still way beyond my league. This one comes with the reliefs, so I've painted in blue all the reliefs, so it looks like a cage, right? Like kind of the original one. Actually, I don't have the box here to show you, but there. So that's what it looks like. I'm not good at painting it, so at a distance it looks better. If you look up front, up close, then it's not so straight. That's true, but it's really going to look much better than without the canopy or anything like that. So that will sit there. I'll have to glue it in. That's one of the next steps, and that's the gunner position. So it's slowly starting to get shape. So also the tail wheel I'll have to put on, so still some details to go for this kind of final assembly, and before going ahead with a test, and then with the tissue covering, which will be the... So let's see if I can slowly wrap this video up before it gets too long. What I've been doing, I've been putting in a lot of the little pieces, little corners here. I've glued in the canopy. There is one more piece that is called A8, this one, which I'm not sure where it goes. I've been looking around the plan and I can't find it, so if anybody knows where it would go, let me know. But probably by the time I know, then it'll be too late. I've also stuck on the rear, let's say, turret, let's say, that's a gun position. I haven't put on the plastic on it because it's going to be too messy from my side. I've put on the side card here to close off this part, stuck on the cockpit, and all the control areas, like the rear control areas, are in place, and also the ailerons, and that's pretty much it from the assembly. So one thing that's missing is the tail wheel. I'm going to leave that to the end because I have the feeling that that can break off, as it's just a wooden one. I'll leave that for the end. But now what I'm going to do now is a fun part, which is a test to run up, and let's see if everything moves and works correctly. So hold on before I close this off. So I've put the battery in. I'm using this my latest addition to my bus collection as to keep it horizontal, because that will be the position in which it will fly. And then I have to somehow put the battery in. I have tried it before and it is rather tight to get it in there, and now it doesn't even have the tissue on. When the tissue will be on, it will be worse, but it will be tight, but it has gone in once at least, so it should go in again. A problem I have is that sometimes the battery moves, so it touches on the gear of the gearbox, which is not good because it slows things down. But let's see if I manage to put it in. And you see the cable is already trying to stick out, and the tissue is not even on it. I'll put on the cowling just for the looks and to make sure that everything can spin correctly. And I'm going to put on one of the broken propellers that I have. There it is. And now let's see the run up. So connected. Let's see if you see propeller spins, and then let's see the control surfaces. So elevator up, rudder right and left. It's pointing a bit more to the right, to like turn right, which might not be bad. And the ailerons, there you can maybe also see them. So it seems to be working. So thank you very much for watching. That's going to be it for this video. It's the assembly, and then the next step is going to be the tissue covering, which will be a battle in itself. It will be a nice adventure in itself. So stay tuned and see you next time.